Charlie Kirk. What happened? Well, in case you've been living under a rock, Charlie Kirk was, and I guess I should give a content warning because we're not showing anything graphic because of YouTube restrictions, obviously. And even if there weren't restrictions, I wouldn't show it anyway. I don't think there's a need to see it. Don't go looking for it. I've seen it myself, but it's disturbing. Charlie Kirk was shot in the neck. He fell to the ground. People tried to help him. This happened, I should say, at a Utah campus. Which campus was it? University of something or other. It happened at a campus in Utah. It was while he was debating about gun violence, ironically enough. He fell to the ground. The crowd scattered. It took forever. I mean, I was watching this in shock and horror. I never thought that something like this would happen to Charlie Kirk or people in his bubble. I didn't think that that would be a thing that I would be witnessing, but here we are. It happened. So let's talk about it. The first thing I want to say is this is first and foremost a tragedy. This did not have to happen. His family did not deserve to see him die. And he didn't deserve to die. I do not believe that. I am a staunch opponent of political violence. I will always condemn political violence, and I don't promote violence. I have had to delete like one comment that says, "Who's next?" That's not acceptable. It's not acceptable, okay? Not one bit. We're not bloodthirsty animals here. We're progressives. Start acting like it. Let's look at this for what it is, learn what we can from it, and try to move forward in such a way that it does not happen again to anybody, left or right. Political tensions have been heating up for a very long time. I don't think that the left is entirely blameless, okay? We're all human. We all say stupid shit and lead people to think stupid things, especially if we have some level of influence, all right? We're all guilty of it, myself included. That's why I'm trying to be very careful today in my words and my language, unlike conservatives, who are famously never careful with their words or their language, unless it is to try to stoke violence. Then they're pinpoint accurate, but I'm not doing this because I hate conservatives, okay? I'm not talking like this about conservatives because I hate them. I'm talking about it because it is a direct result of their words and their actions that led to this. The shooting of Charlie Kirk is a direct result of the political tensions that have been rising in this country completely unchecked, starting from, honestly, a long time ago, but if you want to landmark it, I'd say January 6th is pretty fair, okay? People died at January 6th. The windows of the Capitol were smashed in. They were chanting death to Ocasio-Cortez. Who the fuck was the vice president? Mike Pence, thank you. That guy? Like, it's ridiculous. I understand why people feel like they now have a pass to treat this lighter than it deserves to be treated. Because, again, this didn't have to happen. And if we lived in a more progressive society, it would not have. More than likely. Okay? We can't know for sure. But based on all the data, it's not progressives who have been banging the war drums every time they change the Cracker Barrel logo. Like, literally, Disney princess is black. Uh-oh. Tim Pool's posting about Civil War now. Trans people on beer cans. Well, Matt Walsh has a few words to say about eradicating transgenderism. You know, like, it's ridiculous. And then they sit here and expect people to act normal when one of them gets shot. You know, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Charlie Kirk was not a good person. And to pretend like he was, to act like he was, I'm sure he was nice to people in his personal bubble, okay? I'm sure if a gay person sat across from him at the table, he's not pulling out a revolver. All right. He'll be more than happy to tell him why he's going to hell, but it's not like he had it wasn't like he was, I don't know him, but it's possible that he was a completely pleasant, nice person if you talk to him as a person without him being an influencer, if that makes sense. Just to hammer home the point, and I need to be clear, this is not to shit on Charlie. This is not to shit on Charlie's fans. This is to be completely transparent and recognize the legacy that Charlie Kirk has left behind. A lot of people will be telling you that it's gross to talk about what he's said and done, that it is slandering him somehow to post direct quotes from him completely within context. They're the ones being disrespectful to him. They are trying to pretend that he did not do the things that he did not say the things that he said, and caused the things that he caused. So, out of respect for Charlie Kirk, we are going to remember his legacy, and here it is. Okay? I'm being lazy about it. I pulled up a Twitter thread, but I thought we could get enough examples just from this, just to give you an idea. Okay? Times Charlie Kirk directly called for, supported, organized, and or financed political violence, a thread with receipts. Here's Charlie Kirk calling for the killing of Joe Biden.
I know what you're thinking. We got to get Joe Biden out of the way so we can run up against Cammie. Oh my goodness, is she beatable? It's like Black Hillary on steroids. Is she black? I guess she says
Very
she's
cool.
Caribbean or whatever. It doesn't matter. She is. She gives these speeches, and it's just
Yeah, we're barely going to get into the racism thing, by the way. I don't know. I haven't actually gone through the thread,
has this
so I don't wanna say
aura
that.
of totalitarianism. My team says she's Indian
His wife's words concern me. I'm not getting into all that.
and Caribbean. I'll tell you what, she would be a lot easier to beat than Joe Biden. A lot. I mean, Joe Biden is a bumbling, dementia-filled, Alzheimer's, corrupt tyrant who should honestly
part is.
be put in prison and or given the death penalty for his crimes against America.
There you go. Completely within context. Charlie Kirk's words, Joe Biden should be given the death penalty for his crimes against America, okay? He directly called for Joe Biden, the sitting president, to be killed. But he did so in a legal way, you know? Like, oh, the government will do it, so it's fine. It's fine whenever the government does it. That's what conservatives think. Here's Charlie Kirk saying America should have public executions and show them to children. That seems pretty normal.
I want to watch that execution. That'll make my day better. I want to see him.
Look, I mean, you can just stop there.
I want to watch that execution. That'll make my day better.
Watching Charlie Kirk's execution did not make my day better, by the way. In fact, it was quite gut-wrenching.
I want to see him on a public block and get him be publicly executed. And I think that would be justice. You think children should have, you should see it? What is the age? At what age should you start to see public executions?
16.
I think you could
16.
do it earlier. I think you maybe at age 12,
earlier.
like
Whenever
6th
it's
grade
12.
or so. You are a person, you know, they're old enough to, you don't need to like really wallow in it and have them be broken on a wheel or anything. But if it was something like chopping, you know, if we had a guillotine or something.
Again, I don't personally agree because I don't advocate for violence, unlike Charlie, who did. Here's Charlie Kirk calling for shooting and whipping migrants on the southern border. Let's see if this one actually gives us a video.
It's their country.
Perfect.
For those of you on radio or
Oh, it's
podcast,
9 minutes. I'm not watching 9 minutes. Charlie Kirk calls for shooting and whipping migrants on the southern border. If you enter, we have lethal force and we're willing to use it. Kirk, they are bringing force upon themselves. So literally like mom running across the river with her baby. Yeah, he just thinks that she should be shot. Literally, like he says, use lethal force against migrants coming over and seeking asylum and not hurting anybody. Most of them don't even fucking hurt anybody. In fact, they help us. It's ridiculous. Let's keep going. Here's Charlie Kirk talking about immigration as, quote, the enemy occupation of the foreigner hordes and directing his supporters, buy weapons, buy ammo. If you go into a public space, bring a gun with you. Kirk accuses Democrats of embracing immigration as part of their plot to secure voters. We native-born Americans are being replaced by foreigners. Great replacement theory, right there. It's Nazi shit. He then promised Trump will liberate the country from the enemy occupation of the foreigner hordes. That is literal Nazi propaganda right there. Charlie Kirk's TPUSA is well-funded, hard-right organization, blah-de-blah-de-blah. Nice Candace Owens quote. They still think that, by the way, because they're blaming his trans girlfriend, the shooter's trans girlfriend now. So that's pretty cool. The politics of fear. Where's the quote? See, this thread sucks. I want video clips. Here's Charlie Kirk claiming Haiti is legitimately infested with demonic voodoo and Haitian migrants would become your masters if Trump lost the election. That's pretty normal.
One is like a lush tropical resort, and the other is a
Go just watch
complete
a little
wasteland
bit.
filled with cannibal gangs.
Just get a taste.
and it's important to note that Haiti is legitimately infested with demonic voodoo. Can you talk about this, Blake?
Yeah,
I mean,
well, so
Oh, yes.
I'm like weirdly more sympathetic to
in the
Haiti.
Western Hemisphere.
say that again, Jack.
Well, so voodoo, it's really where Haiti is where voodoo comes from in the Western Hemisphere. So it's brought from a lot of much more ancient tribal African practices that were brought along, forcefully brought to the Caribbean. But really, you see this spread throughout the other islands, and they subvert the ritual to take.
And
So they're explaining like this probably there might be some truth in there. I don't really care. That's not the point.
supernatural has a lot of impact on your life. So they very much believe in the power of magic, that they can kind of kill you but control your body. And I believe
They're saying this is what Haitians believe. Here, wait, let's go
Really
back.
from
This isn't
this
Charlie
entire
himself.
culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where it comes
and
He's sitting
their
and
version of
listening
it,
and
it's more
platforming
like
us.
they can kind of enslave a person, like they can kind of kill you but control your body. And I believe, I don't have it in front of me, but I think there's cases where the power of suggestion is so strong that like people have basically become zombies because they believe that they are a zombie, and it's so powerful on it. But the
What are you
big
talking
picture
about?
here, of course, is there's all this trouble in Haiti yet again. If you're 30 years old, this is probably about the 8th or 9th time there's been some like, oh, massive crisis in Haiti, and the government's a mess, and there's gangs in the streets, and they're doing all of this stuff, and there's never any progress. And it circles back around to a discussion we've had on here before. What if like the big picture thought crime here is, should somebody colonize Haiti, basically?
No. Why would you want that?
There's really no reason to do it.
This is literally like American South talk during the Civil War. Like there were places who didn't want slaves. They literally outlawed slaves because they didn't want to be around black people. This is like the same logic.
I think the only
here.
reason
How about
to do
you
it is
colonize Greenland?
that would be a great idea. Literally, what if
you have Nook?
Anyway, you guys get the point. Like very dehumanizing stuff. And I live in Ohio, so like that is kind of ground zero for the Haitian thing going on. Charlie Kirk calling for grown men to physically confront and threaten children with violence. Hey, tough guy, you want to get in a pool? Because you're going to have to come through us.
And technically, yeah.
Best for them. I want every human being to be able to flourish. But I want medical ways of having counseling and therapy to be able to deal with this in a rather understated and private way. Just in the last couple of years, we've decided to elevate and platform gender dysphoria as some sort of identity crisis. So Thomas was the 462nd best male swimmer in America.
Misgendering trans people.
Thomas
Her name's Leah Thomas.
and woke up one day and said, I am now a woman. Thomas is now an NCAA national
Censor her
champion,
dead name.
best woman
Any
swimmer
instances.
in the country, and won the NCAA championship just 2 weeks ago. And we're just supposed to put up with it. Now the NCAA
What do you mean we're just supposed to put up with it? Like, what are you going to do? I'm sure he has an answer.
has, of course, capitulated to the alphabet mafia and all of the kind of forces around it. And the other women, God bless them, have had to try to compete against a man and lose.
Whatever.
By the way, as Thomas became a national champion. So I have a different take on this. Not different, but one that I think is, important for contribution. This is not your fight. You are a woman. Where are the men? So,
Okay. Rallying cry for men to do something.
here's
Let's see
where
what.
I'm really upset is that we believe that men are protectors. Protectors of the innocent. Protectors of what is the natural law. Not to say that women don't have fight in them, but men need to lead. So at the NCAA tournament, what I would have loved to have seen in a different America, in a 1950s America, let me tell you what would have happened. Yeah.
This is what he wants
Let me
to
tell
see
you what would have
happen.
happened. Is that the fathers of every other competitor would have come down out of the stands and formed a line in front of Thomas and saying, hey, tough guy. You want to get in the pool? Because you're going to have to come through us. Instead, I watch these videos of these masked, beta male, low testosterone fathers kind of hunched over, not wanting to offend anyone as they work for the corporate machine. And I say, that's why this is happening. Women have been left to fend for themselves. And guess what? Now men are terrorizing them. Thomas is a man terrorizing other women. Why are we putting up with this? And the
I don't think that it's terrorism to swim next to other people. I just don't think that equates to terrorism. Like, this is the problem. Okay, here, wait, let's stick on this point. He literally just said that a trans woman swimming next to cis women is terrorism. No, getting shot in the neck is terrorism. But conservatives have they've up that word so utterly and completely that now a trans woman swimming next to cis women is just as bad to them as Charlie Kirk getting shot in the neck. Rhetorically speaking, like that's what they're giving, okay? Oh, those are both acts of terrorism. We're qualifying those as the same thing. This is why we're just done talking. You don't live in reality anymore. You want to talk about how I'm pushing violence by saying, just by simply pointing out that Charlie Kirk was pushing violence with receipts. I don't know what to tell you. I have nothing to say to you. It makes me sad that humanity has reached such a point that so many people just ignore reality. Calling trans people an abomination, telling men to handle them like they did in the 60s, I'm sure that was a peaceful call. Calling murder victim a scumbag. Charlie Kirk claiming the civil rights movement was a huge mistake, created a beast, and that beast has now turned into an anti-white weapon. calling Martin Luther King Jr. an awful and a bad person, fear-mongering with racist statements against black people. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. You know, I probably haven't even given you the best hits yet. There is one in particular. Let me make sure I hit all the points that I wanted to. There is one in particular that I wanted to pull up. I think this one just summarizes all of this so well.
There's some really good polling out of Alaska that shows that Kelly Shabaka is gaining on Lisa Murkowski and is in a very, very good position despite the unconstitutional, immoral, incredibly complicated rank choice voting system. Never should have been approved. It's silly. It's backwards. It's rigged. It's awful. So the new communication strategy for Democrats, now that their polling advantage is collapsing in every single state, it's collapsing in Ohio. It's collapsing even in Arizona. It is now a race where Blake Masters is in striking distance. Kerry Lake is doing very, very well. The new communication strategy is not to do what Bill Clinton used to do, where he would say, I feel your pain. Instead, it is to say, you're actually not in pain. So let's just a little, very short clip. Bill Clinton in the 1990s, it was all about empathy and sympathy. I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage, but it is very effective when it comes to politics. Sympathy I prefer more than empathy. That's a separate. It was all about empathy and sympathy. I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage. And the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage. Empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage. Empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage.
You get the idea. That one's not as direct and visceral as the others, but I think that it just caps off so well what's happening here. Charlie Kirk preached that empathy was a made-up idea. I have news for anybody watching this who was a Charlie Kirk fan or thinks that, like, the left is not being empathetic to him. I am being empathetic. He didn't want me to be, okay? But I am. I have empathy for him as a content creator. I'm a former conservative, so I see some of myself in him. And it makes me very sad that he will never know, because he can't now. He will never know what his rhetoric has wrought, the violence that it has wrought, okay? Even if he was not directly the one doing the violence, he was stoking it. And it's just, I see people, I'm surrounded by people who just think that throwing this under the rug is the move here. I don't understand. What's the disconnect here? Do we want this to happen again? I don't want it to happen again, okay? Because I am against political violence and assassinations. I didn't even like the assassination of the CEO by Luigi Mangione. I don't want to live in a world where people are going around shooting each other and then everybody else around them is hooting and hollering and celebrating. And if you are celebrating, I don't think you should be. I'll be real. I don't think you should be. But I'm not going to sit here and waste my time finger wagging at people who are celebrating and joking about it, because it's just not productive. It just completely ignores the fact that Charlie Kirk has had a direct impact on people's lives, made people's lives worse, and even gotten people hurt and killed. He pushed for anti-abortion policies. Mothers have died and babies have died as a result of that. He was a staunch supporter of Israel. Netanyahu himself came out and said, we're going to miss our special boy. Like, I don't even have to get into Gaza and Palestine. Not that I'm the right person to do it, because I'm not that knowledgeable on it, but I know what's happening over there is bad, okay? That much I do know. Like I said, I'm trying to be careful with my words, something that our opponents do not provide us. But I feel for Charlie's family. You know, like, I want to be a dad one day. I want to have kids, and I would never want my kids to witness that. No child should ever have to witness that. And I don't know what comes after this, guys. Like, this is going to be a turning point in history. And I just feel like I'm going crazy, because all I'm trying to do is make people understand that Charlie Kirk fed the machine that was directly responsible for killing him. And I don't want that to happen again. If you're one of those people that celebrate, I'm going to discourage you from doing that. Let me end with this. The loss of life is never something to be celebrated. And I know that I've been sloppy about communicating that idea in the past. But a death is not something to be celebrated. A life is. Who's celebrating Charlie Kirk? Who's celebrating his life? What did he leave behind? What he left was a trail of hatred and violence in his wake. And he ended up paying the ultimate price for being a part of that. Okay? I'm not saying he deserved it. I'm not saying that it should have happened or that it was inevitable. It didn't have to happen. All right. And I don't know about the shooter yet. I haven't even brought up the shooter. You know, he could be right, left, whatever. It doesn't matter. What matters is, from what I can tell, one side has been banging the war drums and asking for this. Okay? There's one side that has been constantly saying, Civil War time, baby. Oh, trans beer cans, Civil War time. Cracker Barrel change, Civil War time. Like, if you tell somebody every day that you're going to start a civil war, at a certain point it starts to lose all meaning. You know? Like, violence becomes the norm. It's just normal. Think about it. School shootings. There was a school shooting on the day that Charlie Kirk got assassinated, and we didn't even talk about that. A different school shooting by some 16-year-old, and guess what? He was far right. I think that humanity has a rot, and I don't know what it is that makes people want to just pretend like everything's going to be fine as long as we just like shut up and be polite. You know, just be polite. Just don't address the problem. But that's not how life works. I could pull up any number of examples of Donald Trump calling for violence. Like literally making fun of Paul Pelosi after he got whacked with a hammer. Nobody got on his case for that. Nobody that's currently mad about people joking about Charlie Kirk, I'll tell you that much. Donald Trump and their ilk are more than allowed to make fun of George Floyd, call for Biden's death. They can do whatever they want, and it's totally fine and reasonable and whatever, because that's just normal now. This is the new norm. And that's tragic. That's the tragedy, is that violence is the new norm. And it's isolating. This is not a good thing that happened. Far from it. This is the culmination of years and years and years of political tension that has gone completely unaddressed. Completely. And this is the price we're paying now. Okay? You know, death is always a tragedy, guys. What I'm trying to do, you know, I'm not going to call myself a saint. I hop on here and for shits and giggles. That's how it started. I hopped on here for shits and giggles, and while I was at it, I was like, you know, maybe I can push some good messaging, because I feel like I could do that Hassan Piker thing, right? I feel like I could do that. So I did. And while I'm shitting around and having fun on here, I'm just hoping at the same time that I can push the political apparatus in the right direction and make people's lives better. And sitting here and telling you guys to not talk about Charlie Kirk is not going to make the world a better place. It will make the world a worse place. It will make the world a place where this is more likely to happen again, because we're just ignoring the problem. Is that so bad? Is that so wrong of me? Do I deserve to go to prison or be lynched or something because I want to address the reality of Charlie Kirk's legacy? What the is wrong with people? I just want things to be better for everybody, and that includes conservatives. I got conservative people in my family. I love them. The world that I fight for is just as much for them as it is for me and my non-conservative friends. This isn't a selfish endeavor of me. The YouTube channel's a little bit because I like the attention, but besides that, I don't say these things out of a place of selfishness. I say it because it is the reality of the situation, and it's what we need to address and grapple with if we want to make the world a better place. If you're in my community, I really would like you guys to not celebrate this. It just is not a good look, and it reflects poorly upon me. If you want to celebrate, do that in your own private time. Like, nobody, and also, like, that's stupid to do anyway. What the fuck are you doing? You're gonna get yourself fired. Personally, like I said, I just don't, this is not a moment to celebrate. It's not even that I just think it's not. It's not, okay? It's horrific. If you can watch that video, which you shouldn't, but if you can watch that video and start celebrating, I don't know what to tell you. It makes me sick to think about it. Be better than them. Have empathy for Charlie and his family. And the best way you can do that is by recognizing who Charlie Kirk was as a person and remembering his legacy. A legacy of violence and hatred. Hi, thanks so much for watching and making it to the end of the video. I just wanted to let you all know that I love and appreciate everybody in my community, whether you can support me financially or just by liking, commenting, and sharing my videos. It helps way more than you know. That being said, I do want to give a very special thanks to my tier 4 subs, which would be Space Timid and Hot Take Andy. And thanks so much to my monetary subscribers from any of the tiered subs, or anybody who gives me money in any form, including going to my Patreon shop, donating money to me directly. It all helps way more than you know. If you do decide to help me financially, you can get some really cool perks like early access to content, exclusive access to censored videos, also some really cool badges next to your name. Even if you can't afford a monetary subscription, just watching, sharing, and commenting on my content helps way more than you know. Thanks again, and I will see you all in the next video.